What's up, guys? This is Blank Boy, and today I'm going to talk about the differences between an ENTP and an ESTJ. So this is a mistype that I think does not get enough attention at all. I think this is, especially true of people within the online personality type community. A lot of people are wondering, oh, where are all the ESTJs? Oh, I guess ESTJs just aren't interested in this stuff. I think that's generally horseshit. And you end up seeing a lot of ESTJs who are interested in this stuff mistyping as ENTPs for one reason or another. I'm not exactly sure why, but a lot of people who lead with TE end up thinking that they lead with NE or SE or even an introverted function. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, I think that if you are just going by stereotypes, you can really confuse these two. In terms of being argumentative, I think that's something that honestly applies more to ESTJs than to ENTPs. I think that's a pretty bad stereotype for ENTPs. In terms of, being like novelty seeking, being sort of interested in new stuff. I think being into being challenged by new things. They can both certainly overlap in that regard. Though, just because you get interested in the challenge and then don't finish, whatever you're doing, whatever that challenge is, whether that's, getting really good at a video game, or whether that is, writing a scientific paper, whatever the hell it is. Just because you don't finish it does not mean that you can't be an ESTJ, right? Just because things remain unfinished by you does not mean that, oh, I couldn't possibly be this personality type. That could not possibly be, because that type always finishes things. They just don't have any problems finishing things. No, they're right. Like, finishing things is not easy. That's not just something that some people are born with. They don't have to try and, okay, cool, things just get finished by them. That's not true. So let's talk about the actual differences between these two. So ESTJs, I guess let me dispel one thing real quick. Just because you're not someone's boss or someone's manager does not mean you can't be an ESTJ. I hope just numerically that's obvious, that there are not enough boss and managerial roles for all the ESTJs in the world. Just please don't think that. All right, now let's do the differences. In terms of the way they come off, ESTJs seem tougher. They seem more hard-headed, whereas ENTPs don't actually seem that tough. ENTPs, they come off as pretty friendly, pretty easy to talk to. In the right circumstances, they can feel very bubbly, and I'd say even chatty. They may not see it in themselves, but other people. If you are looking at an ENTP, you may see it. And in coming off as friendly, this may not even be something that they want to do. Whether they feel up to it or not, they may be easy to talk to, easy to approach, and just kind of feel open in that regard. And when I say that they may not necessarily feel up to it or whatever, it's the case that they, whether they want to or not, it seems like it comes very naturally to them. Whereas with ESTJs, we're talking about someone who often feels the opposite. Often they feel sort of like they have a wall in front of them. They do feel more adamant and conclusive. I think this is a big difference between the two. ENTPs really end up seeming like more questions than answers, right? Even if this is, some very knowledgeable person on a subject, they can seem very open-ended. ESTJs seem much more answer than question. They may still be really interested in cool new ideas, but ultimately they do seem rather conclusive, rather conclusion-oriented. And I think they end up sort of keeping conversation rather linear. Whereas, ENTPs, there is sort of the stereotype of branching tangents or whatever. Obviously, don't rely on that, because if some particular line of conversation is going really well, then okay, cool. That's probably just you're gonna keep on that track. One of the big differences between the function axes that they do not share, right? So ESTJs have TEFI and ENTPs have TIFE. You can see this in the way ESTJs approach a conversation. It often feels like they have an agenda. And I don't necessarily mean like a malicious agenda or like a networking agenda, but sort of a destination in mind. I guess this sort of ties in with their being conclusion oriented. So having a destination in mind, I think this sort of comes from TE having this relationship to FI, where FI ultimately has some agenda or what have you. That's, I don't know, I'll call it fueling TE, whereas TI really can seem agendaless, like just sort of the void, blank canvas. Hey, what is this moment? What will this conversation bring? And it can feel, it can seem like they embody that, oh, what will this conversation bring? So those are some of the big differences. I think that about does it. So in conclusion, ESTJs are going to seem tougher in terms of, let's say we are talking about argumentation. ESTJs seem like they're more needing to win and be right, this sort of thing. ENTPs don't seem like that. And ENTPs are going to be coming off as bubbly, friendly, sort of easy to talk to, that sort of thing. Again, even if they'd rather be sort of socially introverted. ESTJs, you know, whether they think they're socially introverted or not, I mean, if you're with one, they will not come off as socially introverted, right? They're great talkers. All right, I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching.